I just wanted to take a minute to explain why we sold the Casita and what is up next for us. So there are 5 main reasons why we sold the Casita. And the first one is I never liked towing. So Doug had to do all the driving and I never wanted to tow the thing. I never felt comfortable. I towed the Scamp a couple times and I didn't like it, so that really put a lot of burden on him to do the driving. I mean, we do have the 3:30 rule. That's where you get into camp by 3:30 or you drive 3 hours and 30 minutes. Is that Doug never wanted to go long distances, and one of the trips that I want to make is to Florida. I'd like to do that in January of this coming year. We have a daughter in Florida and I want to go visit her, and I don't want to fly there, and I want to stop along the way and visit fun places like New Orleans. And we live in California, so as you can imagine, that is a long drive. And the other thing is the Anderson weight distribution hitch, which is essential to our rig, and I just didn't have the hand strength to get it on, so I couldn't connect it. So if there was an emergency and something happened to Doug and he wasn't able to do that, then I would kind of be stuck. I mean, I could tow the trailer. I know I could tow the trailer, but to get the Anderson hitch on was just, it was nearly impossible for me. And another thing is I wanted to be able to travel by myself. So with the Casita, I didn't want to tow it. I didn't have the hand strength for the Anderson weight distribution hitch, so travel in an RV was just out for me. Doug doesn't always want to go, and I like to go a lot more. I like to travel a lot more than Doug does, and I like the beach, and Doug doesn't like the beach at all. And we have a lot of coastline on California, beautiful coastline. In fact, I just came back from a 2-week trip in our new rig, which I'll show you in a minute. And I had a blast. So it is so hot here right now. It's already 80 degrees. It's not even 10 a.m. And at the beach, there was one day I was just having to wear a jacket all day long because it was about 65. So the most important reason why we sold the Casita and bought a new rig is because Doug had a stroke. So in November, it was night and I was kind of quasi asleep, awake, and Doug said, I can't feel my right side. I mean, he's only 64. You know, how does that happen when you're only 64? And so that woke me up, but I was still kind of dazed and confused. And I said, should I drive you to the hospital? And he said, no, call 911. Duh. So we called 911. I called him and I was oddly calm. I don't know, I was really calm and I was able to get my message through even though I felt outside of my body. So I called 911. I told him what was going on. I had to run down and open up our gate. We live in a very rural area, and so our property is completely fenced. So I had to run down and open up the gate to let them in. And that's another thing is I wasn't sure, like, you know, living in a rural area, I just wasn't really sure if they were going to make it there in time, you know, if they were going to be able to get him to the hospital on time. When you have a stroke, you only have so much time to get the medication that will help you. And if you don't get that medication, then you could have really bad consequences for the rest of your life. So fortunately, oh my gosh, so we have a fire station just not even, I don't know, 5 miles from here, and they were here like in 10 minutes. It was so awesome. And so they came and they, you know, took his vitals and did all those kinds of things. And then the ambulance came and picked him up. And I said, can I go? And they said, no, because we're putting him on the helicopter. So they took him down to the fire station, and then they put him on a helicopter to go to UC Davis Medical Center, which is one of the premier medical centers for if you have a stroke. And his doctor called me, so I was still here at home. His doctor called me and she said that he was able to get the medication in time. So November, now it's July right now, and he's doing great. He's not 100% yet, but you know, probably I'd say 60%. He'd probably say 50%, but he's doing a lot better. So anyway, so that was really the straw that broke the camel's back on getting a new rig, and I had been thinking about this for 2 years. I really wanted, I'll show you what we got. See if you can see this. So we got a van. It's a Pleasure Way on tour. It's a 2.2, and in our next video I will give you a complete tour of our new van, which I love.